How is everybody on this beautiful Thursday? Hope you're doing well.
Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, Publishing Pusher here. Thanks for joining me. In the Jet name, Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me.
All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is, believe it or not, this is our 11th session on Zoom, talking all things books since we left Clubhouse. And I was just talking to Pastor Paulette earlier, saying the same thing to Dr. Evans when he was, before this started, that there are seasons for all things. And sometimes you're in one place and it might even be going good. And God might say, it's time for you to shift. It's time to make a change. It's time for you to go somewhere else and do something. And we have to be willing to stop what we're doing, get up and move to the next place. And not look behind us at what was, but look forward to what is and what shall be. So that's the excitement that I get with this space here, because I get to talk about books, any and everything that's relative to books and publishing. I want to remind everyone that you can go to Jetnay Publishing YouTube channel. You will find all 10 of the videos that are already done. They are on there, and I'll be posting this as our 11th one. Once we start our 5-minute tips, publishing tips, those tips will be on there as well. And, as we are building, it takes time to gain the momentum that we need, and we shouldn't become weary as long as we know that we are doing what we are supposed to do. In due season, things will fall into place, but we don't want to be right there at the precipice of the shift, of the change, and we back off and we miss it. So again, I'm excited that you are here today. And I haven't seen Pastor Paulette on screen in a while. So, and Pastor Paulette, I see Miss Anna, who's been a regular with us for quite a while. Even on Thursdays when we were still on Zoom, she would come in, she would even share, and she always has a wealth of insight to share with us. Because I'm the kind of person, I don't believe I have all the answers. I just don't, I'm not God. I'm not Jesus, I'm not Holy Spirit. So I don't have all the answers. I have some answers, and I have to be willing to go and get some other answers. But it's always great to have others in your corner, in your tribe, that are able to participate and bring engagement to what we are doing. So I always want to give Miss Anna her props, because I appreciate her so much. And Pastor Paulette has been in a couple of my devotionals, the Centered in Christ series, at least 2, maybe 3, I can't remember, but she's been in at least 2 of them. Miss Anna has been in 2 of them. She has been a coach. She has helped with editing. She has been an exemplary resource, because I know I don't know it all. And I know what I do know, I don't want to do it all. So it's a blessing when you have people that don't mind being a part of the process. So as we dialogue this week, I want to remind you, we're only here for 45 minutes. We like to keep it tight. We went over about a minute or 2 last week, but that's not my goal. You know, I'm not going to be the pastor that keeps saying, this is my closing. And 10 minutes later, this is my closing and this is my closing. No, we want to be faithful to God's time, because our time is God's time and God's time is our time. So we have to remember that. If does anybody have any questions or anything that they want to share before I share anything? If you have any questions about any project you're working on or anything that you're trying to do, we're here to answer some questions. Yeah.
Well, hello again, Dr. Annette. I'm so honored to have been able to jump on here, and it's so good to see you, Dr. Anna. And I guess there's someone else, Written Word Publishing.
That's Mel V. Yes.
Okay. I'm just glad to be here. I haven't seen you guys in a while, but you've been in my heart. I pray for every entrepreneur that is trying to walk this road. It's not that easy. I love what you just said. Our time is God's time. And I love that concept. And, I took some time to step back and really look at what I needed to do and the process I needed to take. Because like I was sharing with Dr. Annette this morning, a lot of times we're looking at results, but what we really need to do is get ourselves ready to embrace the process. And so the process is what's going to give us the progress. And sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's lonely, sometimes it's painful, but nevertheless, it's never pointless. And so I'm just glad to be back on here again. I'm glad that we stayed connected. I'm glad for the godly love that we have for each other, that even if we don't speak for a few months, we still are there for each other and to support. So I'm just here today to listen and to give you some support and to say hello to everybody. And thank you for giving me some time to speak. And I'm going to pass it back over to you, Dr. Annette. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor Paulette. Thank you. And good to see you again. Miss Anna, did you want to share anything? Anything going on this week? I think you shared that you got something big happening.
Yes. And that's why I'm a little quiet today, because one of the authors I have been coaching to write a devotional happens to work for one of the Michigan State organizations. And she recommended that I do professional development for a statewide group. They have 100 people they'd like to be trained. And that's what we've been working on, how to do this efficiently with people who travel all over the state and have to write reports that go to different audiences, and some of them also end up in court. So how do they write the same report that can be read by such a wide range of readers? And so that's been my challenge. So Pastor Paulette and others who just pray for us generally, I want to tell you specifically how the Lord has been answering your prayers. And so one of the reasons I continue to come is to learn some of the ways that you teach, but some of the ways that you talk. I was listening to Sister Paulette, and the series of alliterations that she used, some of the things I'd like to encourage the writers to include in their writing, so that whoever is reading it will have those little bites that summarize what they're trying to write. And of course, because these reports often go to court, the reports have to be written objectively. So, how do you write objectively about personal issues? And so, continue to pray for me, and we'll continue to pray for each other as we learn how to share what we're learning with those who wish to learn from us. But this all came about from a woman who's writing a devotional, and we've been meeting online for about a year. And she would rather me coach her so she can learn how to do it than pass it on to me to do it. And she's been pleased with what she's been able to learn in our sessions. And now, come September, two of the weeks are on Thursday, so I won't be joining you, but I'll be teaching 3 sessions a day 3 days a week, and once a week for 3 weeks. So it'll be 9 sessions to accommodate about 100 employees. So if I'm a little, ooh,
That's exciting.
you know
I
what?
love that is exciting. I love to see my tribe just rising up and just doing more. But one of the things Miss Anna said was this is someone she's been working with for a year. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, this person thinks of Miss Anna as the person. So even though Miss Anna has been helping her with her project and getting her stuff together, they've been networking through the time. A networking
Mhm.
has been a part of that. It may have not have been like, I'm going to network with her, but it's unintentional, but it's a part of the flow. So when we are working with people, we are working in projects, we never know what the outcomes, what the extensions can be. We just have to do what? Show up. Show up. What's the S3 model say? If you don't show up, people don't know you exist. If you don't
Yeah,
speak out, people don't know you have something to say. And if you don't share it, people don't know what's in your toolbox. So Miss
that's
Anna
true.
is showing up, speaking out, and she's sharing it. Because see, in the process of her sharing this teaching, this training with them, they're going to find out about the other stuff that Miss Anna already has and the resources that she has. And now they can go tap into that. So we need to make sure we are out there being seen. So then we
Yes.
can move forward. Love it, Miss.
Congratulations, Miss Anna. Congratulations. I know you're the woman for the job and you will get it done. God bless you. Thank you for sharing that.
That's exciting. Melvise,
Yeah.
how you doing today? Written word publishing.
Good morning. I'm good. How you all doing today?
Yes, a great day. Anything going on with you? Any new projects? How's it going? How's your book coming?
Everything is going good right now. And last week I actually did a podcast interview, and I realized, I'm always telling my authors to do it, and I said, okay, somebody said they wanted to interview me, so I did it, and I'm still waiting for them to post it, so I can send an email to all my authors and say, "Here, look, this is what you can do. It's so easy. I have that list. Just do it." So yeah, I'm making a conscious effort to lead by example. So it's more than just telling, and providing the resources to my authors, but also giving them an example of how they can actually take advantage of it. So how they can use it and benefit from it and what it can do. So I'm probably gonna just go down my list and go ahead and sign up and do some more interviews just because it was
Yes.
so easy and to get it out there, and I actually put it out. That was my first time mentioning to the world my endeavor to you know get these two books written and ultimately turn them into New York Times bestsellers. That is my goal. I know independent authors can do it. I've looked it up.
Yeah.
There are independent authors out there who have done it, and that is my next big goal. So yeah, that's what I got going on right now.
Wonderful. And Pastor Paulette, if you don't know, Melvise actually has a list of podcasts that
Oh,
people might be interested to be on. And Melvise, if you want to post that link, please do.
yes, yes. I wasn't sure what we were sharing because it's my first time here.
Because we
And
talk all things books.
all things books, right? Okay, yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I just had one book that just came out and I just did that. That was through KDP and self-publishing. And that was turn your setbacks into comebacks. And that's my logo there. My brand is now the Bounce Back Coach, and it's all about rising up and starting again. And rising up and starting again is not a one-time thing. It's an everyday thing. As we get up every day, we can start the day But do you really start over again, or do you bring yesterday's setback into today? And so I wrote that book, and it's been going well. I actually just put it up for 99 cents because I want to use that as a part of, helping people with being resilient, which is the thing that is the key to life, is to be able to bounce back, believing in yourself, and always bouncing back from the setbacks that we encounter from day to day. I was telling someone yesterday, she got up and she said she had such a good time in the presence of the Lord. She was singing, and on her way to work, she was just praising God. And she said as soon as she got to her job, about a half an hour later, someone came by, and this person was so nasty. And she said her day just went downhill from there. And I was telling her, listen, your day is your responsibility. Yes, there's mean people, and people can come by and bounce you or push you, but you got to be able to find that balance to not let them rob you of the day that the Lord has made. He said he commands us to rejoice and be glad in it. And that person probably is having something that they're going through, because we know the saying, hurt people hurt people. And she said this lady was just so mean, and it just made her whole day, like her heart was so heavy. And so I really do believe that what we're doing here, even with, all things books, these books is giving someone comeback in some way, shape, or form in their life. And it's a beautiful thing to write, because writing is also a way of worshiping God, and it's also a way of sharing your value to the world. These books will live on longer than us. Our grandchildren and great grands and generations to come can go and find one of these books that probably will help them when they're at the edge one day, to pick themselves back up and say, I'm going to make a comeback from this. So
Good.
I'm grateful, and I would love to see that chat, the link, Mel V.
She put her
And
she put her email, she put her website for you to
okay, in the chat. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah, it's in the
Yes.
chat. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. So yeah, I thank you for letting me share that. So I'm doing this webinar, as some people may have seen, to just try to help people to know that in life it's about resilience, right? It's about resilience. You have switched over here now, and like you said, Dr. Anna's been working with someone for a whole year, and now it's paying off. So it's about being resilient and just keep going no matter what.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Annette. I'm so proud of
Yes.
you, and I'm proud of you all, that we're hanging in there, you know. We're hanging in there. So thank
Yeah,
you
and
for
and
letting
it's
me.
good to be able to let people know you're not tooting your horn, but it's good to be able to dialogue about what's going on in your world.
Right.
Everybody needs encouragement.
That's right. That's
David in
right.
the Bible needed encouragement.
Come on.
His situation got so bad. He could only encourage himself. But at least we can
Yes.
have people in our tribe that we are able to connect with and encourage each other along this journey. So this is
Exactly.
the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing about us coming together. Whoever comes in, it really doesn't matter. Even if I was here by myself, I'd say what I got to say. And if people wanted to go to the YouTube channel to look at the videos, they'd be able to do that,
To do that. Yes, that's great. That's great. And
Because if I die tomorrow, the YouTube channel will be
we'll
evergreen.
still
If I
be
die
there.
tomorrow, what all of the 1,000 videos that I have on Facebook will still be on Facebook. If I
That's
die
right.
tomorrow, all of the 100 videos that I have in my ministry page, they'll still be there. The books that I've written, they'll still be there. The people that I've helped along the way, their content will still be there. So that's the important thing, is that we are doing the work that we are gifted and called to do.
That's
And
right.
in the process of what God is giving us, we are serving other people. Miss Anna has served this woman for the last year. Now, Miss Anna did reap some benefit from it. I serve people and I reap benefit because God said we are worthy
Yes.
of our hire. Okay. So
That's right.
we need to get resources for the things that we do. But even beyond that, God will open up other avenues, as he has done for Miss Anna, as he does for us. You know, like I was telling you,
Yes.
I don't know if it was here, the other thing that I was saying, because I can't tell, I got so many things going on sometimes. I
Yes.
was saying how I had wanted to have my Sunday service on television for a long time. And when I first looked at pricing, the Lord was like, no, you're not going to pay that kind of money. And when it's time, the door will be open for you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
don't try to press doors that is not your season for it. And just a month ago, somebody reached out to me and said, I think you should have your show on this network. And I
Wow,
had
that's
and I had
good.
already checked the prices before, and God said, you're not going to spend that kind of money. And this one isn't even charging me a sixth of what the
Of that.
other two places wanted to charge me to get the word out.
See? Amen.
All I have to pay for is editing fee every week for the video, and that's
That's
it.
beautiful.
So God
That's
will open
beautiful.
the doors. We just
He
have to
will.
make sure that we have our resources in place,
Yes.
so that when he says it's time for you to do this, we don't have to say, well, I'm not going to be able to do it because, you know, I don't have anything put together.
Oh, that's
When
right.
Anna got that offer, she could have said, I can't do, I mean, I haven't done this and I haven't done that. But no, she was like, I can do this. You don't have to have it done the day that they ask you to do it. They're going to give you time when they plan whatever. You got time to work it out. You got time to put it
Right.
in place.
Yes.
Miss Anna, you were say
Yes.
something.
No, and we call
Right.
on others to assist us.
Yes.
My daughter has been a writer for international telecommunications for 25 years. As soon as
Wow.
I got this offer, I called her. I said, Mom has got this offer to teach these classes. What is the language that is used in professional writing that may be different from academic writing? She writes for
Right.
people all over the world. And so her
Beautiful.
writing has to be different than if she were writing just for the Appalachian Mountain people.
Mhm.
And so she's
Yes.
going to meet with me tomorrow. I'm going to have a tutoring session with my daughter. Um, and she also taught during COVID. And so, what are some of the strategies we can use in an online session week after week, where we're going to have breakout sessions? And what can they do? What platforms do they need to be able to access in order to make this an interactive session? So, Dr. West, we keep calling on people that we know, as you said, who know more than we know. And I'm looking forward to this, looking forward to working with my daughter
Yeah.
on this
Love it.
particular project.
I love it.
Yes. 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 I love it too. That's great. You know, I always remember, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably have heard it before. It takes a village to raise a child. And I believe it takes a village to become an entrepreneur, because you can't have a company with one person. A company is more than two people, right? Or two people at least, you know. So I do believe that networking and community is very, very important. And it's not so much of looking at the differences, because support is support, you know. And once you can get that support, like Dr. Annette said about the days when you need encouragement, you know, this morning I kind of felt a little weary. And my daughter came in and ministered to me, and she didn't even know what I was going through. But just some of the things that she said to me uplifted my spirit. And we have those days, right? When the enemy just comes and he tries to tell you, but you know, but those who wait on the Lord, right? He will give you wings to mount up like an eagle. And you never know who's going to be that person to help you to get your wings started again, because you felt like not flying that day, you know? So yeah, I'm glad I connected with Dr. Annette, spoke with her this morning. I was encouraged through her, and being here today. This is something that I haven't done in a while. And I told her, like, this is my pride, my foundation. And I kind of eased back from Clubhouse a little, but the foundation was already made. What I needed from Clubhouse, and I'm not saying I'm done with them, but I'm just saying that as we go along, the actions will show us the directions that we need to take, so yeah, so glad to be here.
Yep, timing is everything. Timing is
Yes, it is.
That's good.
Yes.
Well, I just want to share a little bit before we get out of here, because somebody will be coming in and get some other points. So last week we were talking about points to consider for effective interior book design. For those that were here, those that aren't, now you know. And some of the things we talked about last week was, I had several on my list, and last week I was able to cover 3 before we ended the day. I talked about readability, and readability was looking at your font selection. Are your fonts easy to read? What are the what are the most common choices to be used? We talked about font size, so you really should go back and listen to number 10, Talking All Things Books, number 10 from last week. We talked about font size and line spacing. We talked about consistency with our styles and our format, our margins and our alignment. And I also talked about hierarchy and structure when we are ensuring that our headings and subheadings have a professional flow, as well as a table of contents that provides that well-organized content and gives the reader, before they even get to what's in the book, an idea of what they should be expecting in the book. So today I wanted to start with number 4 of that, which would be white space. And what is white space? So white space is, once you have your font on your page or pictures or whatever you have, sometimes people have so much stuff on a page that is crowded, it's cumbersome, it's confusing, where you want to have some extra space in places to make it look more effective, make your content more digestible. So the word would be having balance in your white space. You don't want your page to look cluttered. And feel free to jump in at any time if you have some insight on this. Those of you who actually do books, guide people through books, you may even have something else on that. Also, margins and padding, meaning we have to ensure that we have the appropriate margins and padding around our text and the images so that we can enhance the readability for the person who is looking at our content. Miss Anna, did you have something to share?
You mentioned about white space and the way words look on the page. 2 things that are coming from the textbook publishing company of having paragraphs that take up fewer than 10 lines per page on the paragraph. It may be 2 or 3 sentences. So it's not the number of sentences, it's the number of lines, because more and more people are looking for smaller hunks of writing. And you're mentioning too about the headings and subheadings and all of that. They're also asking that each of those elements be written in the same grammatical structure. If you are using ing verbs or ly adjectives or nouns or something, that they should be consistent. The subject, the subheadings should be consistent throughout. And those are the kinds of things we can look at the editing stage. When we're writing, it may not be there, but when it's finished, how many lines do the paragraphs take, and whether or not the headings and subheadings are in the same grammatical structure.
That's good. The fifth thing I wanted to mention was, now, of course, these things that I'm talking about are really require depth of teaching, okay? All of these things can be taught, workshops, webinars, and everything. But I'm just giving you some nuggets as we are coming in our session. The 5th area is typography. And I have 2 things that fall under typography, and one is font pairing. We talked a little bit about this last week, but using a limited number of complementary fonts to create visual interest without overwhelming the reader. That you don't have 4 or 5 different fonts on the page, and this whole group is italicized, and this is all bold, and this is all capped, and it's just confusing to the reader. And then the second thing under typography is emphasis. That means using bold when needed, using italics only when necessary, using different font sizes very sparingly, only when you are trying to emphasize headings and or key points. Anybody want to share anything with that?
I just want to say that is a great point because some of these things people really don't know, especially when you're going like the route of trying to do it on KDP, you know, and this brave about AI now, where people are saying, "Oh, I can write my book. I just tell AI what I want, and AI writes it." You got to have the right prompt. And I had a person that they went to AI, gave AI a title, AI wrote the book for them. And when I tried to interview them, it wasn't really like an interview on my podcast, but I was called them to ask them about the book. They really couldn't tell me about the book. And I said, well, okay, can I coach you for a minute? You can't have AI just write your book for you, because if someone said, I want you to come on my podcast, or I want you to come and tell me about your book because I've read it, you can't talk about the book because you didn't write the book. So you need to know the right prompt. You need to know the right wording that you need AI to give you, and things that you are able to expound on if somebody wants to ask about your book. And so these are things that people don't know. And I always tell my daughters, never go for all new and delete the old. You're gonna always have to mix a little of the old with the new. You're gonna have to always mix a little bit of your own personality with the knowledge that you've learned, because then you can bring your own self into it, and then you can be yourself, and then you can bring the value that you have in you to the world or to the people that cross paths with you. So these are things that people don't even know, you know. And I when I wrote my book on KDP, that was one of the things that I had an issue with, like certain quotes. I love quotes, so I kind of italicized the quotes, but then the whole book I made sure that the font was okay. But I still had to go through that book and really look at everything. And you really need someone that really knows what they're doing. Come on. You really need someone to be that midwife for you to really give birth to this thing, you know? So if you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. So I think that's a great point. I never even heard of that white, what was it, whiteboarding?
White space.
White space. No, I had a phone call from my daughter. Yeah. So that was something I just learned today. So thank you for that. But yeah, I'm glad I'm here for this today.
Were you going to say something, Miss Anna?
No, I was just thinking what she was saying about the things that we learn, and it really depends on who our audience is. Dr. West mentioned last week the idea that many people come to us writing devotionals, and they want their readers to interact with the text by writing notes or responses. That's fine on a print book, but it doesn't work on the e-version of the book. And some people forget that you can't have a tiny book as a devotional that people are to write in. You might have a little book like this as a devotional if all they're going to do is be reading. But if they're going to write, you need at least 6 by 9. I think 7.5 by 9 is even better because there's space to write. And so understanding who our audience is and how we would like them to use the book would determine how we adapt the information that we're learning here.
That's good. Thank you for that, Miss Anna. That's good. Melvise, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, so yeah, I would like to suggest you have to keep in mind your margins. That's where if someone has a physical book where their hands and their fingers are going to be. So there's a standard that I know when I format books, I use 0.75 on the top, the bottom, and the outside margin. The inside margin is 1 inch to give that extra quarter inch for the gutter. But yeah, one of author that I was working with, her book was extremely long, and she wanted to shrink the margins to fit more words on a page to make it less pages. And I'm like, you cannot do that. Like, you have to be mindful of the space. Like, that's just not going to work. She wanted a whole bunch of text in the book to be bold. I'm like, that's not necessary.
Mm.
But yeah, and then I would say that if you are doing it yourself, before you actually release the book to the public, get a printed copy and go through the page and actually see what it looks like, because then you'll be able to see what you need to change and what you need to do different before you release it and let somebody buy it and see it thinking, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this makes me think of, and this really did happen. So I had an author who they said their content was ready, and we contracted and everything. They made the deposit, everything was in place, and they sent me the manuscript, and it was all bold. It was bold, not just bold, it was in caps. The whole document was in
You just gave me a headache. I'm cringing over here. That's
the
crazy.
whole document was in caps. Now the bold was not a problem because I was able to highlight the entire document and take the bold off.
Well,
Would
yeah.
not allow me, the way they had piecemealed it together, it would not allow me to put it in standard casing. It would not allow that. So I had to go back to them and say, either you have to rekey your entire document without caps and separate the content so I know the sections, or you will have to pay someone. And I have someone that will do it, but it's going to cost you.
Oh, that's right.
So they chose to pay the person
Amen.
to do it because it was a grueling process for the person that did it, but at least they got paid their worth for doing it.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
why it's important. I always try to tell people when they start talking to me about their book, and I said, how far have you gotten? Well, it's all in my head. This is a good time then to get with a coach. This is a good time to get started because I
Yeah.
can help you get that foundation so that you can begin the process in the right direction instead of
Right.
bringing it to me. And at this point, so much has to be done before we can ever get to really publishing anything.
The book. Right. That's true.
So that
Yeah.
was a very interesting experience. I was like,
Mhm.
my eyes got like, what the world? How do you submit something in all caps?
No, that's crazy. Yeah, but they don't know. You don't know what you
But
don't know.
but my thing was, how do you not know? You read something before in your life and you've not seen it in all caps.
In all
I
caps,
would have
right.
preferred that they did 16 font and did it the right
Right.
way because I can adjust your font to the right
Right.
size. But
Mhm.
that was just that crazy thing that happened. And so instead of maybe 4 months for everything getting taken, it took over a year
Oh,
for
wow.
everything. Yeah, because technically the person that got their content was really ghostwriting their work for them,
Yeah.
to
Had to
be
do it
honest,
all over.
because they were
Yeah.
trying to make sense out of it while they were trying to, transpose things. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So that it
Wow.
cost that person, and it was on the low side to me, it cost that person an extra $800
Wow.
to get that document. What
Yeah.
does Miss Anna and Melvise say? Edit ready.
I know that's right.
So think about it. This wasn't even the editing part, okay? This was $800 more that they had to pay before they ever got to the editing process.
Process. Wow. It's
And
not worth it.
actually, one of the videos on Jetnay Publishing YouTube channel actually talks about Edit Ready. And Miss Anna and Melvise were here that day, and we talked about what we need to do to get our manuscripts to a point where they are at a presentable level before we turn it over to an editor.
Wow.
We have like 4 minutes left. Anybody else have any comments? Anything you want to share?
Yes, another thing that you cannot do is especially if your document is fact-based, you do research online, you cannot simply copy and paste what you find on the internet into your book. I'm editing a book
Yeah.
right now, and I went through it, and there's at least 3 or 4 chapters where you could clearly see the author just straight copy and pasted. I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
I
Oh
mean, I don't
God.
understand why people don't know that you cannot do that, but
Can't
you
do that.
cannot do that. You know, you can, if you want to use a resource, you can gather the facts and then put them in your own words, and you can
Yeah.
reference
Right.
where you receive those facts from, but you
Facts
cannot
from.
straight copy and paste something
No.
that you found online.
Plagiarism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Those
hopefully,
examples
Miss Anna,
remind us
go
of
ahead.
why. Those examples remind us of why we're there. Someone said the middle person. The
Mhm.
writer
yes.
has the ideas, the audience has what it wants to read, and our privilege is to help make that transition not only accurate and easy, but as Melvise was mentioning, giving credit to
Yeah.
those sources. And some people think because they are not writing an academic work that they don't have to give credit.
Mhm.
And
Right.
in some ways, that giving credit shows that you understand that you don't yet know it all, or
That's
that you
right.
respect or admire what someone else, the way someone else has said it. And it's okay to do that. So good reminder, Melvise.
Yes. 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 Yes.
That is good. And I'll share this last example with you. So one of my authors had this really, really great topic. And as I started looking through their manuscript, I saw all of these hyperlinks that they didn't know were hyperlinks. And how did I know they were hyperlinks? Well, first of all, as you talk about, you can kind of tell when people copy stuff from the internet. But also when you see shaded words within content, a lot of times, if you click it, it will come live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I
Yep.
said, well, what in your book is actually your information, your
Information.
knowledge,
Right.
your analysis, your assessment of the content that you reviewed? And they were like,
Wow.
huh? What do you mean? And I was like, well, I know for sure that in these sections, like Melvise said, there's like 3 sections here with a whole lot of content. And I see hyperlinks in your document. And I know that this isn't your writing and you cannot use this. So you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and you're going to have to, even if you want to use it, you're going to have to be able to read it. You're going to have to assess it. You're going to have to analyze it. And then you're going to have to share your thought and then give them credit.
Yep.
Do you know
Yep.
that book never got done?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. They paid me, but the book never got done. They just gave up.
Yeah. You
That's
gotta,
one
you
thing.
gotta want to learn.
That's one thing that AI is doing now. And sometimes, particularly if you're using graphics, if you copy and paste a graphic, it will include the citation that you can include on your copyright page.
Yes.
So that's a step that we didn't have to do. We don't have to do anymore.
Mm.
But the evidence is there. And by sharing that with people, say, how did you know? I said, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna have to
All
go.
right.
Got another thing
We are
coming up.
at
So
our
thanks so much,
time. I want to
everybody.
thank
Yes.
you all for coming in. Remember, this will be on the Jetnay Publishing. If you haven't gone there, please do. And subscribe. Share it with other people as well. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming in. Have a great rest of your week. I appreciate you all. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.